All four of us have pretty big boards.
Okay, we should be live now.
All right, thank you, Mary Zell.
Thank you, Mary Zell. Feel better.
Well, Roberta went. Roberta, are you still there? Can you hear?
Yeah. I just figure I'll cut the view for better bandwidth, maybe.
I just want to make sure we didn't lose you. I just don't trust this internet signal. And I think this is it. I agree.
You want me to?
You're you're carrying the meeting.
Did we have an agenda for today?
Yes.
I'm not seeing it.
I know I was sitting there looking at mine too.
Yeah,
I was like,
I didn't see that.
I'm sorry. I thought I sent it to all, but I didn't bring copies.
One between the two of us. Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
I think as long as you have it, Mark, we're good.
That's why I was waiting. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the executive committee meeting. Lisa unfortunately has some personal issues that she's had to be out of town last minute, and so I'm going to try and take care of things in her stead. And is Cindy joining us, or
She was unsure if she was going to be able to make it
All right.
because apparently with that cop that got shot at Virginia State University, she's involved in that. She's afraid it's going to make things run long.
so we've got. I think we have enough people here, so we've got enough to have a meeting, right?
And I think technically, no,
We don't have to vote.
No, no.
Okay. All right. So first course of action today is approval of minutes from our last meeting.
And unfortunately, like I said, I thought I sent the one attachment that I thought I sent had both the minutes and the agenda.
Okay, so why don't we just agree that sometime tomorrow we can, if you just shoot it to us overnight, we'll look at it and we'll just talk about it at that point.
Sure.
All right.
I've got copies of the minutes here, and if the internet pulls up, I can try resending that.
No, not a problem. And I have no idea what Lisa was planning for her chair's report, but I think we can talk briefly about the meeting for tomorrow. I think everyone has a copy of the agenda for tomorrow. I think we have a very, very full agenda. There's a lot of items here. I would just like an opinion as we go into this as to whether at the beginning of the meeting we say to people, we've got a lot to go through. We got things that are very important on this agenda. There's a chance we may run a few minutes over.
Well, I have till 1 o'clock, which is later than
Okay, so I think it's important I remind them that it's going till 1 o'clock. So okay.
It's also the plan was we're having lunch delivered, and then at your leisure, the lunch will come early, right? So
Right.
you can call a 5-minute break for people to use restroom, but then grab a box lunch and we can have a working lunch.
Okay, perfect. All right, because I think it's important that people don't think they can just boogie out at 12:30 and take off on this, because we have a lot of things, a lot of really important news to share. So that's good. Okay, great. And then I think, are there any questions from anybody about the items that are on the agenda for tomorrow? Does anybody have any concerns, or is there anything that they wanted to just note that I at least could make a note of so that I make sure it's covered? There was a lot of materials passed out, so I'm sure we will read them all comprehensively. Every piece of the research and collections report. But in any case, if there's anything else that somebody wants to add on, I think that that's important. Joe, if you had to, when you look at this, if you had to say that would you qualify anything as the most important or secondarily important, so we make sure that if we get into a time crunch, we make sure it's done, or we sort of laid things out in that order. It seems to be that way. So
Okay, a couple of comments, FOIA presentation, of course, that's critical. Yeah, we need to do that. The tour of facilities and grounds, I mean, we're bringing Mr. Doran in.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
important.
hate to skip over
Yeah.
that. We didn't have, well, never mind, I take that back. I guarantee you treasury report can be very brief because it's just the first quarter.
Gary, don't be brave.
okay, that's fine. Okay, so I should maybe I'm over concerned about that. I just want to make sure because we ran really late in the July meeting, so the August meeting. And mea culpa on that. So okay.
Do you remember us being late?
People are already here, then they're probably not itching to leave. I guess the question is how many, do we have a quorum? of
Yes.
People that are planning to be in person.
That
Even
was-
with Lisa not here, I think we had at least one above a quorum.
Will there be any nominations being, so I'm gonna walk down this now. Will there be any, so there's really no nominations scheduled? Is there, and Melanie will have something to say, I presume. So.
All I've asked from Melanie, she'll be on Zoom, is just to remind everyone that we have to announce a slate of officers at the February meeting. So that means you guys have some work to do to figure out, because Lisa is at the end of her 2 years as of July 3rd. Sorry, June 30th. So you have to announce a slate of officers at the February meeting, and then you vote on it at the May meeting with calls from the floor, which is how we got you, Corey.
Do it the max. It happens. That's the way it is.
Happens to be, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it seems like she just started to do what's
I know. It's amazing. Treasury report we just covered. Is there anything of consequence that's out there that we should be aware of that beyond what we read, that you spotted or like?
No, the one big thing that Ryan mentioned that it seems like everybody always talks about is the insurance,
Yeah.
but that's, it gets paid later on in the year is what they mentioned.
we pay ahead. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
so we're good there. So it looks like we're, off there, but we're not because it's already paid. So.
Okay, that's fine. In terms of the FOIA presentation, any comments there? I mean, are all the FOIA issues? I know Roberto, you've always been a friend of FOIA. Is there any concern on your side that everything that's in that presentation, or should we be asking Cindy to? Is there anything else we think we need to add in there?
I'll look over it again. I actually downloaded the FOIA, the full FOIA from the FOIA website. The only concern I guess is just curiosity in terms of our following procedure on posting documents in a timely manner, and I was just trying to get her thoughts on what exactly would constitute that, just so that we don't have any concerns down the line. Especially with any annual things that we may be required to do. So it's more insurance than any concern from the past.
Yeah, and does that include committee reports?
Well, yeah, because technically any public meeting is supposed to have the
That's a good
documents
question,
and
that.
minutes posted. So
Right.
if it's a public meeting, it's covered.
All of the board meetings going back, I don't know how many years, but
Lot
a lot of years, yeah, are online.
Okay. All right, but nothing else you saw when you looked through that, Roberta? Because I know it's been a favorite son.
No, that's just it. It's definitely a short course. I don't know how much, how much she'll expand on her slide deck, but that was definitely the short version.
Okay.
And I feel like we've done this before. Is it something we just get periodically?
Apparently we have to do it. There's I don't know if you call it a law or a policy or what, but every board is supposed to get a FOIA review once a year.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Elizabeth and Audrey, they've given probably the same presentation to us.
Sounds
I
good.
guess,
It seems like they're
especially if
always-
there's new board members.
Yeah.
Well, there's Lauren. I don't know that she's been through a presentation yet.
Yeah, I'm hoping that one will go real quick, because it seems like at every one of those at the end, there's always 5 million questions on how do we handle the emails, if we're calling somebody, this and that, and it goes on, and it's just like, just remember, if there's 2 of you, you're okay, if there's 3 of you, you can't do it.
Okay. This is awesome.
Yep.
I'd like to bring that up because do we have any open positions on the board at this point? As in formally open positions?
Potential renewals.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll have to communicate with those folks 2024. If they want to remain on the board,
Right.
they're probably going to work with their legislature.
All right. But we haven't had any folks that have decided to leave.
Well, Mukunda.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
That's
I
what I
just
was
talked to
wondering.
Mukunda a couple of days ago. She is going to formally resign. She hasn't technically yet. She is going to attend tomorrow's meeting by Zoom, apparently. So she found a successor, but of course we don't get to pick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the successor's CV and enter the pertinent data into the Office of Appointments for it. So
Right.
colleague of tremendous.
Okay.
So,
And where was she at in her term? You know, like how long it seems like she's been on the board for many years.
I know, but
This
she
is-
just got renewed about a year ago. And I can't remember if she was filling an unfilled seat before that. That might be why it seems like a long time.
I think at the end of 2024, there were the 4 or 5 of us. I know
Yeah.
there's me and Art and oh, I can't remember his name now. He loves to fish. And Tom Benzine.
Yeah, that's right.
And Burnett.
Maybe Melanie.
No, it's the
Richmond Burnett? Zan.
No, and
it's not
Jennifer.
Jennifer. I think we all came on together.
Okay.
But this will be 10 years for all of us, I think, at the end of next year.
Well,
So it's like 4 at one time, and they all last at the same time.
So that process of her leaving and getting somebody new in is not something that goes through the nominating committee. It's all up to the governor's office, appointments office, right? And we can make suggestions.
Mhm. Well, you can nominate someone, you can self-nominate, or you can encourage someone to go and nominate themselves.
Right. I'll leave that. I have a question. So all right. So Joe, you want to address what you wanted to say about the executive director's piece that's on here? That's not where we are. If we go down there, I don't think we got through it.
No, I mean,
There's nothing.
there's no surprises. Advancement report is looking real good. I mean, the main thing that we would bring up tomorrow is that we took a harder look at the numbers. Our numbers now in terms of visitation are higher than pre-pandemic, but the number of school kids coming, busing kids in, while that's on an upswing, it's much lower. So when you look at the total numbers, we still haven't recovered from pre-pandemic levels. But all that said, our revenues are actually quite a bit
Do you
higher.
count virtual stuff in there, in those numbers?
We do, but
Okay.
that's very slim numbers recently.
Yeah.
so the school's just not taking advantage, or they like,
Just not coming back, you know,
everything I hear about the schools is they're just like trying to do the basic stuff. And that stuff's not
That's what
working
it
very
is.
We talked about that in the finance meeting. I know Danville City Schools 2 weeks ago was their first public field trip since COVID.
well.
They went, that was Jamestown. They do it every year, but they haven't taken one since COVID to them. So things are just starting to move back up.
All righty. And so then after that, after your discussion, Joe, we'll take a walk up the hill.
well, what's going to happen is I've got some very basic information about frontier culture. Len's going to come in. He's a former fundraiser, and what he's going to do is kind of cover the historic grounds and the future vision of Frontier Culture Museum, and also talk about the fundraising environment. He's worked extensively in the area. He's a retired fundraiser now, so he's also volunteered to be part of the whatever we're going to end up calling it, the branch committee or Waynesboro committee that will kind of be our foundation foothold here. So it'd be good to get to know him. And I was just suggesting, it's up to the board. You can take a 15-minute break and walk around the grounds. There are some of the recreated villages very nearby. So you can go, but 15 minutes is not enough to walk the whole grounds.
But I mean, let's just see how we're going with the front part and then just say, look, please be back by X time. We're going to start.
And honestly, you're seeing most of Frontier Culture. You have this facility. They have a library back there, or an archive, as they call it. Downstairs is an event center, and then across the way they have where we walk by, it's their admin offices, box office, things like that. It's a fairly, except for the extensive recreated village, it's a very what am I trying to say, lean organization.
You had mentioned, you talked about fundraising. I wanted to bring back up that, I mean, the King Gas, perhaps the obvious, we got that great announcement at Waynesboro of Lockheed, not Lockheed, but you know what I'm talking about. Northrop Grumman coming into Waynesboro. I also sent Greg a note to say congratulations. That must have been a lot of work on his side too.
I have never seen that guy so effervescent.
Yeah. I sent him a note and said, congratulations on all the hard work. Now, make sure you give us the introduction to the guys that cut the checks. Because I mean, those kind of people, they tend to have a little bit of extra cash laying around for these kinds of opportunities.
We're going to start, they're going to be operational, at least what I read, in 2025. In the meantime, Ryan and I will go digging and go to the corporate site, get introduction there. And then hopefully, if we, with a little bit of luck, whoever they bring in to do their community relations will be the first stop.
Yeah, I think we can do a lot before they get there. That'd be great. I mean, we need one or two people that are excited about what we're doing.
Yeah.
A company like that, those monies disappear pretty quick. Okay. So Art's got quite an extensive amount of material in his report. I think there's going to be some opportunity for some good highlights there.
Did you see? You see Hayden's
very cool
addition into the Smithsonian? Didn't see that coming. So,
you didn't see it coming either?
he didn't let on.
Wow. That
He had, well, they had a caricature of it.
yeah.
Is that what you call that picture?
Yeah.
Yes, they had it, so he must have not
So
signed
it's
it.
really a nice caricature too, you know, it's
I just imagine the guy sitting at his desk and the Smithsonian caricaturist comes up and says, "Can I just draw a quick picture?" Sure. And he's not aware.
That's fantastic. So I'm sure I'm sure Art will say something about that. You'll say something about that in your section, but that's fantastic news. And Adriana's clearly been busy learning about. So, well,
They are.
So,
Yeah, she just she is a co-PI on one sizable research grant, and then she has submitted another, and then there is one that Ryan, because Ryan is kind of our grants program officers. He gets the curators logged in essentially, and they add all the material. Point is that Ryan gave the details about when her next submission for grants dollars will be.
Awesome. That's just fantastic. It really is. Dave, you're going to share lots of good stuff with us.
You know, I work with Christy really hard to come down with like 3 really juicy bullet points and hammer that out in the morning.
Good. I don't know. I presume you just want me to walk through this. Or just
Yeah. Facilities. The pavilion. We finally have a project trailer on site.
Yeah.
So they're going to start busting up concrete in the near future. They basically say that if they can bust up the concrete before the footers, before any bad weather sets in, the rest should go very quickly. And for the pavilion, obviously they want to get the heck out. The maintenance reserve project primarily is, I don't know if the main maintenance reserve activity is going to be Douglas Avenue. And so if you remember, we replaced the roof and the drainage last year. What we did work out with Richmond, which we didn't even know was a thing, we were told the rule is that when you use maintenance reserve, you bid out each project. So HVAC, plumbing, water, whatever. You know, we're actually gonna do a term contract with the contractor, and then it's gonna be one contractor, one team doing the whole thing. So they estimate if they get started in the summer, it'll be a year and a half. So 2025 Douglas Avenue will be done, and we can start moving collections over there.
Will that many of that be in stair steps or is just wait and get it all done? Will you be able to move some things earlier?
Yeah, there are some more durable things that can go over there, and it depends on the order of elements. You know, so we put we call hobo gate loggers over there. They read the temperature fluctuations and the humidity, and if they're good for a particular kind of object, we can, you know, say books are different than rocks, which are different than fossils, which are different than study skins. But that's about that.
All righty. And then Waynesboro Tom's got lots of good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it'll cover the meeting with the governor's team. We do have a plan in place. Basically, what it is that if we're in the governor's budget, when he releases it December 10th or so, it should all be good. We've got friends in the House, friends in the Senate that will ensure that there's accompanying bills to match the governor's. If he doesn't put it in, he has a right to do that. If he doesn't put it in, then both Senator Hanger and Delegate Avoli and Delegate Campbell will have said that they would put in budget amendments. Now, with Hanger retiring, we are now working on, unfortunately, Lauren and her husband are good friends with incoming Senator Head and his legislative aide. So I hope we have it in there that we just want to make sure Head will continue to champion it as project coming into his district.
Oh, that's nice.
I hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Here, chin.
Right.
Control is control.
And we've got other friends, Chris Runyon, Delegate Chris Runyon. He's basically saying if we can kind of help the message of we're going to build this museum, but look, that's going to be more traffic and we need more infrastructure, right? His infrastructure is his project. So we might start adding that to some of our promotional material. The second person is Senator Deeds. We've dealt mainly, actually exclusively with his legislative aide, but she says that he's been keeping his finger on the pulse of the project. That he just wants to see it come. So I think we have enough of a coalition support to do some damage.
We've got the event in early December, the opening of the trailer, right?
Yeah, we got December 8th, we'll do a ribbon cutting. December 9th and 10th, there's the LLB pop-up event.
I keep seeing that LLB thing. What is LLB? Sponsored or something? Or?
They have a thing called the Bootmobile. And so they bring a big tractor trailer and pop out all these tents and they sell merchandise. So they kind of bring a warehouse on the road. And so the city's going to augment it with some other stuff. We're going to be open and we're frantically scrambling to pull together what we need to do. We did a lot of damage. We got volunteers up there. We're going to rent a trailer or a generator, a three-phase generator on a trailer to run it. And we can't leave certain exhibits in there long-term because we won't be able to control the environment because we're not going to run a generator all the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what it is, first of all, Senator Hanger is very kind to thinking about it, but and set us up. Just operationally, it's like we don't have people, we don't have time, we don't have money, right?
It's very tricky.
Good ideas take work.
Yeah. So, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exhibit elements that are pretty much ready to roll. Monday, Tuesday next week, Buildings and Grounds is going to help us put together some infrastructure for them. Bethany will be printing out the text panels, temporary text panels. We'll slap everything together for December 8th. And then the idea is the next time we know we're going to use it will be Riverfest, which is about 3,000 people. That will be end of April. So we'll have another, like about a 4-month window where we can modify it, spruce it up some, maybe take everything out, put it in the center, put a nice coat of paint on, get the dirty thumbprints off the walls and stuff,
So are we attaching ourselves to the LLB event or is LLB attaching to our event?
It's more that
I'm just trying to say where the money flows.
Oh no, we're not getting anything out of this.
All right.
So
I don't know, they're like super. The bean boots are amazing, but that's
yeah. Well, One, the city of course just reaffirmed $1 million. They
Yeah.
specifically asked, can you make this open by the LOB event? So of course, we're gonna say yes.
Okay, all right, that's okay, that's well, that's.
Yeah, okay,
That's
all right.
good. So,
Yeah, so they already had LOB, the
Okay.
trailer kind of fell in everyone's lap.
Yeah.
You know, no one knew about it. I called
Yeah.
the city and said, by the way, hope you're okay with this, you know, that's coming. And the rest is history. So
That's great.
we're good.
And then the last one is mine, so that's just, we're just gonna have a quick report about how we met to discuss the next strategic planning process. And ask for some volunteers in terms of people helping us to begin to start the project, which will last for some period of time, starting tomorrow and going on through into its launch in 2025, right?
Yeah.
Official launch.
What year is it now? Yeah, so we got about a year and a half.
It's 2024, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
2023's gone.
I know.
All right, so, and then, Roberta, you got words of wisdom about, reaccreditation to talk about tomorrow?
No, it'll be brief. I mean, the minutes kind of reflect what we did. It was just the introductory meeting, so it's a matter of just just seeing if anybody has questions and reiterating the fact that, we're gonna be in lockstep with the strategic planning committee in terms of that as a subset in some ways, and staff will guide us through.
Good. And then, as I asked in the beginning, is if nobody has anything else that they wanted to add to the agenda that wasn't there already, we'll see. And we've got on site, who else is coming? We know.
I do have a list somewhere. We have 9 scheduled, so
That's fine. Well, we got some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very not, we should be good.
Yeah, and that is not, obviously, we pull these out of those numbers, so.
Yes.
And looking at counts tomorrow.
No, she'll be online.
She's
So
Tony
she
will be online.
she- and Melanie will be
No.
online.
Gotcha.
Okay, so, does anybody else have anything else that we need to talk about in this meeting?
Well,
You told me what I should be talking
Okay.
about. so-
so this was our agenda for today's.
Oh, that's
meeting.
right, I'm still here.
You know, yeah. So
I'm sorry.
So I just want to point out in the chair's report, I would like some input from the board today and or tomorrow about what you want to do advocacy wise. If we get no input, we're going to schedule a day by talking to the people in the know about what would be a strategically good time to go through and drop off all of our information at all the offices, maybe make a few appointments with some legislators and so forth. Right. So we do that every year anyway.
Right.
Right. So last year, or this past year, I should say, we had our board meeting associated with the General Assembly session. There's some pushback that isn't necessarily great, and whatnot. We're good as staff. We're good, either way.
Yeah.
So I think we can just go ahead and have a regular February board meeting. And then we can schedule a day in the General Assembly session, and bring some staff up, try to get some volunteers from both boards that can go and run
Yeah.
around. Is it in the new building yet? Does anyone know?
Last time I was there, it's about it. It didn't seem like it was that close. It was going up though, was it? I mean,
Cindy may know.
Yeah.
She's walking around that area of town, right?
Yeah. I don't know what the schedule is. Right. So, so, we can certainly handle it. There are special requests for what we do. The thing is, too, just keep in mind that regardless of what happens with the governor's budget, we do have a laundry list of meetings and folks that we need to reach out to. The city's lobbyists will help us with some of that, but there are probably going to be times where Jonathan and I and a board member will need to go to one of the money committees. And part of that is just to kind of guard to find out if anyone's trying to remove a project that is ours. If we're fortunate, maybe we get asked to actually provide 2 minutes of verbal information. So we're going to be doing
That's
that
good.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we met with former delegate Steve Landis, and he gave us a laundry list.
Right.
These are the things you may want to consider doing. and they match up very well with what the city's lobbyist it, told us we should be doing.
But is that part of that? That's as those committees meet and
Yes.
when they meet, rather than
And we don't even know.
a day walking around, drop bys.
That's right. That's in addition to that. So there's meetings which are not scheduled yet, and we don't even know who's on the committees yet because they will do committee assignments in early January.
So will the face of how we're gonna go about that change? I get at this committee meetings, you want to be present, but will the face of how we want to say and present change depending upon who's in what committee and so forth? I'm saying is, when do we want to be making very specific plans about that day visiting all of the offices? Will it change? Will anything change between now and then?
No, I mean, the theory is that, we're going to be mentioned as a potential capital project in someone's budget,
Right.
either all three or maybe just the House and the Senate. Right. And so if that's the case, then we're going to cater our message to reflect that situation and basically answer the question, why should people be in support of this? And so, we can talk about economic development, we can talk about education, and we can, of course, talk about the museum being an essential government function.
My experience is that you guys give us some talking points.
Yeah.
Shortly before that, just so that.
Well, I think circling back to your original comment here is you're looking for some guidance as to what those talking.
No, not really. No, what I'm saying is, if the board wants to do something special, like they want, like combining a General Assembly visit with a Richmond board meeting, we can make that happen. Right. Again, there was some resistance to that after last year's experience. Right. So if I don't hear anything, we're just going to schedule a VMNH meeting, and then we'll have a special day in Richmond in the General Assembly.
Do you think it's appropriate then maybe to bring up that people have objections to a Richmond board meeting? Or do you think you already know you have enough objections that it's not worth the time to talk about it?
I mean, I know there's going to be.
Okay. All right.
So it depends upon you guys if you want to talk about it or not, So I don't see an advantage in it. I see
I don't either, because you still need those people that are going to be able to walk around the building all day long, and they're not going to be all the people that are.
Right. And so I think the best thing to do for this particular session is to have a regular board meeting, because potentially we're going to be kind of extra busy with the homework we have to do in the General Assembly beyond our normal advocacy day.
And beyond the fact that we were off-site with remote the last meeting, but this one, so it's time to go back home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The new GA
Staff likes
building
that too.
opened last month, so we have that to look forward to. That should be a much nicer experience.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, because that Pocahontas building was small.
Yeah.
That was crowded.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
You know what we ought to do? I don't know what, but years ago, we got some framed posters and had a U of Opera on it, right? The whale, right? And we gave that to Delegate Don Merrick and somebody else. Maybe it was our senators. I don't remember, but they hung it up outside the office.
Nice.
So we ought to maybe.
Well, in the annual report, I mean, the report, it's a really nice printed piece now that'll serve a really good purpose, and it covers all those points that you just talked about.
You betcha. I think that's going to be good. But the point of the
printing
posters,
is getting ready. That's a lot of good media. There's a lot of people.
Well, it would be focused, I would think, right? So you, like you
we
said.
went to almost every desk.
The annual report, yes.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Oh, the posters is very.
the poster, we would just give one or two delegates. So, and the reason I bring it up is now that they have a new building, I'm sure they're not going to be conscientiously moving our old posters over to
That's a great one.
and those legislators are not even active. So who even knows what happens to them? So my point being, what they'll leave behind will be the annual report, but then we'll have a one-page kind of synopsis to go with it, and maybe we'll have something like a cookie. We'll see if we can get the local bakery to make cookies in the shape of Chesapeake shell or something.
Do we ever do anything with them after the fact when they help us? You know, like when we sign on and we get appointed by the board, you know, I remember the very first board meeting I came to, Cindy had the proclamation thing and we got it framed and did all this. It'd be nice that if they're coming out, then we could present that and do that publicly somehow. And it kind of, without shaming other ones, be like, hey, you helped us get this started, funding it, the whole 9 yards. And do something after the fact. Also.
Maybe it's even like a little print of the design or
Just something really nice after.
People are helping us.
Yeah. I mean, any legislator that's gonna help push this along and that are helping us as opposed to listening to us and then they just kind of shove us off at the end, you know, something that's, you know, they're always giving out the same, they're not getting it. This is something you get, you know, we're giving them something after the fact. There's no monetary value, so they can't say we're robbing or anything.
Did they pick a resolution by the board?
Yep, something like that and have it framed and give it to them. I think they would really appreciate that because one, that's something they can show off. That's something they can put in their offices and say, I helped make this a reality.
Yep.
Okay, well, I could try to hammer out some resolutions.
Yeah, but I think that's probably, is that something you want to do at that point in time?
Yeah, I would think you would do it, I guess.
Well, we're talking about February, so by February, we're gonna know the bottom line anyway, right? So we'll know who gets the goodies.
That's right. But I think that's something that's just something kind of neat.
3 or 4 at the most, right? I'm thinking. Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, you always get that little bitty, you know, prize at the end of the game.
Yeah, and
I like that.
Greg's probably a good candidate or something like that too, even though it's his job, you know?
So I know this is public and you haven't announced it yet. But, Senator Hanger will receive one of our Jefferson.
Okay, good, yeah.
And just FYI, the foundation has changed the format of Jefferson Awards instead of a formal.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 you know, the whole thing that we did before. We're actually going to go visit each of the Jefferson awardees and have a photo op with Jefferson Press. And actually each one is going to receive a monetary gift that they may use towards their efforts, right? Or that they can donate to, you know, a charity relevant to, you know, to their work and so forth. So we're doing it a little differently, but anyway.
That's cool.
That's
He
really nice.
doesn't know.
Yeah.
That's really nice. I mean, that's how the Hall of Fame does.
He's
In the
probably
NFL.
watching.
They go, yeah, they go to the first Hall of Fame and NFL. You've been, you know,
Right.
included now. So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay, all right. Thank you for getting me back on this piece of paper, which I think is true. All right, I think, I believe we've covered.
We've covered just about everything.
Yes.
Is there any old business that from this committee?
Don't seem to remember any.
I don't think so.
No.
I think that just something real quick, and I know Ryan will talk about this a little bit, but if you look on page 1 of the advancement report for the first quarter of museum revenue, admission and retail, if you look at fiscal year 24, it's the highest we've been since 2008. I think that's saying something too. Yep. And that's with, to be honest with you, that's with fewer visitors too.
People are leaving behind more money. So
Yeah,
our revenue per visitor has also seen that.
And I think the reason that is the reason we have fewer visitation and higher money is because the Museum Without Borders is doing really good. So they're allowed to come in for free.
Yeah.
And the people that are coming in that are paying though, they see the value in what we're doing. So they're leaving behind more and they're buying more too.
Oh, you mean the, come on now, the Museums for All.
Museum for All,
Yeah.
Without Borders, yeah, but Museums for All. So I think that's just something really big to say on as you think about it. Between admissions and retail, we're as high as we've been since 2008.
There was some moment, I don't know how far back it was, we redid the way the gift shop operated.
Yes.
And
So we got rid of the cafe. We made some money on it.
Yeah.
Honestly, most of the profit probably came from the staff. Right.
Or summer camp groups.
Yeah.
But the
We did
rest of
have,
the year was.
yeah, it was like pulse. There were things like summer camp groups and some special groups that would come through, and sure, we'd have that kind of pulse of money. But the new store manager, Robbie Hendricks, he's working with Jonathan, right? They're both very analytical, and they have reduced the options in the store. It's still pretty diverse, but it's based upon what really moves.
Yeah.
Right.
He told me last time I was there, the last meeting we had there, I stopped in to get a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I said, you don't have as much stuff in here. He said, yeah, we got on it. We cut the slow moving stuff out of here.
Yeah. Well, the store used to be pretty well.
And it's
with
priced,
stuff.
it's priced pretty cheap
Yeah.
too.
Well,
So maybe I got a deal. I paid $5 for a dinosaur, a Dino Festival t-shirt.
Oh yeah, that's dated. So
I mean, it was still a cool shirt.
Yeah.
I think what.
Some of the Beatles t-shirts.
That was cool was that he put more stuff geared for kids.
Yeah.
Cause at one point when you went in there and you went to the right, I mean, that was for, it was jewelry and the, what do you call it? The salt lamps and all the kids aren't gonna pay $100 or something, but they're gonna buy that $20 toy they're gonna break before they get out of the car. Cause I mean, they're rough with them and stuff. So I mean, and our kids will tell you, they like the gift shop here as good as they did. And they're like, they liked it better than they did the one in Raleigh. Just the dinosaurs. I think a boatload of them bought the snakes, and then they were the talking parrot thing, the birds.
Yeah.
That sound like what the bird is. They love that stuff. So I mean, and then they would buy rocks. I mean, if it was $20, they spent $19.98. I mean,
That's funny.
hey, by the way, I did take the liberty of putting on this agenda that the next board meeting is February 10th. Incidentally, just so that you know, that's opening day for Masters of the Night. So we'll warn everyone tomorrow because it's not going to be Dino Fest, right? It's just not going to be, right? But it's going to be a much fuller house than what we've had in the past.
Well, that's good. Though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that means, and then we take into account that staff's gonna be pretty busy at that point too.
We'll be all right. So, yeah, there are going to be some of the curators are going to have tables, that sort of thing. Your team's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll just say that the first quarter went very smoothly. There were no surprises. Some things are starting to come to fruition, like the pavilion, but and the funding has gone well. The curators done well with their grants. Cultural heritage monitoring is still pulling in good funding and so forth and whatnot. And incidentally, getting back to the Smithsonian annual report, I don't know if you noticed, but not only was Hayden highlighted within the pages, but towards the back when they talked about corporate whatever they called, I don't know if they're calling them corporate partners or whatever, but Iridium was one, and Iridium is a strong supporter of cultural heritage monitoring. So kind of an interesting.
That's great.
Juxtaposition. Yeah.
So, all righty, Ben and Joel will be ready to go tomorrow as well. Front end.
Yes. So Ben's going to talk about the process of what do you do with a specimen? Like, let's say something's being donated, or a curator brings something in, or whatever. What happens to it? You have this whole accessioning process. And, you should know that because you're all
signing off on all the.
Yeah, you're caretakers of the collection, really. You just have to do the technical stuff. And then Joel is a member of our building and grounds crew and our Vita rep as well. So he's going to talk about that.
What is that?
Vita?
Yeah.
Like Virginia, IT, Virginia Information Technology Agency.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always been an adventure with Vita. So the
VITA, you were saying.
No, sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, so don't forget too that back during I think it was the Northam administration, maybe, or it was either Northam or Terry McAuliffe. that Northrop Grumman was actually contracted to do all the state's IT. And then the state didn't like it. They wanted to go like move everything to cloud and stuff like that. And it became quite a messy situation. So there's a little bit of history there, you know, and I know we talked about Northrop Grumman coming to Waynesboro. So I don't know if they have long.
They've lost that bad taste in their mouth of that deal.
I don't know. Sure.
Probably was a blip in there, you know.
That's nice.
Okay. Anything else? That we should be covered?
No.
That's good. All right, so I think we can close out and adjourn this meeting. Roberta, do you have any last words of wisdom?
No, I'm good.
All right. Thanks for being our guinea pig with the internet. It seems to have worked pretty well.
Yeah, you guys never cut out. It sounded fine. Picture was fine. No issues.
Excellent.
Okay, good. Good. Thank you, Roberta. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's always a nice
Good job,
warm
guys.
weather down there.